Good evening. Thank you for joining this live session about interior design. My name is Silvia Ciferri and I'm the founder of Casa Colori, an interior design firm based in Scotland. And this evening I will answer your questions about interior design. But first of all, there will be a 10 minutes presentation to give you an idea what interior designers do when they receive the briefing to, they say that when they go from a blank canvas to a nicely decorated room. Okay, let's crack on with the presentation. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, which the title, as you can read, interior design process. Oops. Sorry, I need to get the hang of it on this software. Apologies, time to time there will be some senior moment. Okay, as you gather from my accent, I'm Italian. I was born in a city called Perugia, which is famous for art, chocolate, but I studied biology in the university, and after I graduated, I moved to Paris, and I lived in there for 3 years, although the first 2 years were on and off, Paris, Italy. Beautiful experience. Then I went back to Italy. I studied for my PhD, which was in molecular biology, nothing to do with interior design. And then at the end of my PhD, I came to Scotland, and I fell in love with Scotland and with a beautiful Scottish man. Unfortunately for him, we were still together, the poor guy. And in 2012, I bought my first flat, which was the typical ex-rental flat. I redecorated things there when I found out my passion about interior design, and I decided to study. And so I did. In 2014, I founded my firm, Casa Colori, which in English means House of Colors. Okay, and now let's move to more interesting thing. This is a floor plan, which is the very first step of interior design. Furniture plan is basically the furniture layout, where to place the furniture in order to fill a room, but to still have enough room, enough space to move around, and also to be comfortable, because no one wants to have a couch that stop you from accessing the window and open it. And here you have a very nice example of floor plan. And what you can see that from the floor plan, you can also figure out which the shape of the furniture you should use. Because, for instance, in the kitchen, in the two kitchens, which are identical because they are two identical flats, you see that in one room there is a round table, in the other room there is a rectangular table, which has been placed in a swing way. So you still have the same amount of people for a dinner, but you have more room to move around. You could easily dance in the space. Okay, then, something to mention, that floor plan was done with a software, SketchUp. But if you don't want to use a software, you could use a scalar ruler, like the one in the photo. A scalar ruler is a ruler that is calibrated. For instance, 1 centimeter matches 1 meter. So you can design your own floor plan, which won't be as pretty as the one before, but it still gives you a very clear idea of how much space you have available. And for instance, here we see that despite the lounge is very big, 6.5 meters for 4 meters, you don't have enough space for the piano, and the piano has to be allocated in another room. But you can still see that in a living room you can add a small wine bar, some plants and bookcase, and so on. Now, The second part of the design process is the lighting plan, which is basically where to place the lights in order to light up a room efficiently, but still creating a nice atmosphere. And you see here I have cut off the bedroom from the previous plan, and immediately you can see, well, you need a main light, but then you see you need lights on beside the bed, you need lights near the TV. A little tips sometimes to create a cinema effect when you watch the TV is useful to put an LED strip at the back of your TV set. The lights is going to bounce back from the wall, sorry, and this will create a very nice effect. Here there are some lights near the walls because there might be paintings, there might be some plants, and also because, well, we all aging, and as a professor of mine used to say, it's always better to exceed with a number of sockets because sorry, because one day you will need to plug a light there. And now we are at the most creative, or apparently the most creative part of the interior design process, the mood board. The mood board, as you can see, is a collage of photos that are put together to give the client an idea of what can be done in his or her room, and also if he likes or dislikes the suggestions. And in your case, it could be something like you do to see if your idea is going to work. Don't be surprised if for a mood board you will make, for a room you will make several mood boards, because you might have more ideas that you want to compare to see which one works better. And mood boards normally have either a white, a gray, or black background, so that there no interferes with the colors of the furniture or the wallpaper or the paint you want to use. The wall, sorry, I'm gonna have to say the objects the photos of the objects have to be placed where they are in the real world. Here you have, for instance, the pendant that is above the bed, and also the sides of the photos have to reflect the sides of the real objects. That's why the photo of the lamp is bigger than the photo of the wardrobe. Now, this mood board was done with a software called Keynote. You can use, PowerPoint, Photoshop, Pinterest. If you're not keen on using a software, on learning to use a software, you can still do a mood board manually using an A3 carton, A3 carton, possibly like gray or white, as I mentioned before, and you can cut out the photos of the objects you like from catalogs. Many companies like Dwell, Bookoms, they give away catalogs, or you can cut the objects from magazines, and you're going to place them together, and you see what you like the most and what you dislike the most, so they are going to avoid. For those of you who will do the mood board using a software, source of photos could be catalog online, a simple search on like, I don't know, 4-seat couches, and you can see all the options and Google is going to give you. Another possibility is to go on the website of the magazine, on website of some companies you like Habitat, IKEA, Bookomset, and so on. Then, as I said, you will place the photos together and you will try to figure out what works better, and you will progress. And here are some of the rules about the mood board, which I have already mentioned. And the last step of the interior design process is the 3D drawing, and the 3D drawing is done because it gives the most realistic idea of what is going to be achieved. These days, some firms also use the walk-in softwares that give the client the possibility to walk through the 3D drawing and have really experience what the room will look like. But this situation, you have something very realistic. You see out also the objects, how they're going to be distributed on the space, how the colors are going to interact, and also you're going to see in front of you, because normally the mood board might be a little bit too flat board. And this 3D drawing was done with SketchUp. There are also vector, CAD, and there are a lot of applications available on internet these days. A client of mine once used an application, I think it was called Plus Art, which was brilliant. And that's the list of the software I mentioned to you before. If you are not keen on using a software by your gift on drawing, you can do your drawing, the 3D drawing by hand. Normally the perspective that you use a single point perspective with basically all the lines of the drawing are aiming to one point. And you can also color. For those that feels a little bit scared of drawing these days, there are a lot of tutorial on YouTube. You can practice. Something can be useful also, try to do the mood board a little less. If you don't feel confident in drawing, try to put the several mood boards you have done, those you have chosen, you are 100% sure you like. Try to put them in a distance, one after the other, and a little bit separated from each other to give a sort of perspective, and so you will have a better idea what they like. Okay, and that's the summary of what we have discussed. Floor plan, lighting plan, and mood board, the 3D drawing. And something important to mention, every time you decorate your house, regardless what is your inspiration, the garden outside, a piece of art, the new collection of Valentino, always remember to start from the furniture. Well, I hope the presentation was useful to you, and if you have any question, please feel free to write something down in the comments, and I will be delighted to answer.